Hi there, welcome to the channel. I'm Cindy Daychuck with Queen Bee Creations, and you are joining me for 30 days of Christmas ornaments. Today's ornament is inspired by these. Now, these came off of a thrifted wooden candelabra. It's just, these hold the taper candles. I took them off because I didn't need them. I was adding pots to it so that it could be a raised planter. But I knew I'd use them for something. So it just struck me that they look very much like a cute little angel body. So we are going to do that. I'm going to take these screws out. These are just screws, so I can take my screwdriver. Of course, they're different screws, so I do different heads. But I'm going to take those out, and we're gonna make them some wings. So let me pull you in for that part. Now, I get that you can make resin and pour it in here, but I want wings that I'm using this kind of curlicue mold. I don't want it to flow over. And people have kept telling me, Cindy, just use hot glue. So we're going to try the hot glue method and see how it works, because I need 2 sets of these. So the one thing that I am going to do, and you could see it on this one that I filled, is I'm going to be inserting a wire because I want a way to be able to attach them to my wood. So I'm only coming up to about here-ish. So I am going to start, make sure I had lots of glue. I am going to start in here. And as I am, I'm kind of pushing the kind of crevices open a little bit with my nozzle to make sure that I'm getting that glue down in there so that I get good definition of it. Now I am gonna, because this is a lot of hot glue in one place, it is gonna take a little bit to cool. So I am gonna have to wait for it, just not as long as my overnight resin, especially since I want 2 sets. So looks like that's about as far as I went with the other one. We'll put my wire in, which gives me a way to attach it, and now we have to wait for this to cool. Okay, these have pretty much dried. They're still bendable, pliable, but they've got all the detail. They've got all the shape. This is embedded in there. This is perfect. Okay, that was way quicker than doing the resin and with a lot less muss and fuss. So what I am going to do is I'm going to paint these white. I have to look for where my wooden balls are. I'm going to use a wooden ball for the head. If I have one with a hole, that would be better. So I'm going to look to see if it's the right size. Everything gets painted white. Well, my camera cut out and I lost some video, so I need to catch you up, which is a fair bit here. So let me tell you what has happened. I have glued the head on and just used some markers and a little bit of blending chalk. So the blending chalk I used just to get that little soft pink tone on her cheek. It's going to be softer than markers, but I just drew on a face with some of my markers. This is a little round ring that I got from the dollar store that I just painted with a gold marker and glued on. Her wings, you saw us make them, but I drilled a hole into the side, just on an angle downward into our wooden body to be able to glue that down in there. Now, I did big wings. You could do smaller. If you did big wings and decided that you wanted them smaller, if you used the hot glue as I did, you actually could take an X-Acto knife and cut them at any point that you'd like. This was just a wire that I inserted into the hole on the top of her head that I also drilled because I didn't find the wooden beads with holes until today. Figures. And I'd already painted the ball white, so I went with it. And I've just started to bling her up a little bit with these little fake rhinestone strips from the dollar store. Okay, oops, don't get them to stick to one another because they're really quite really quite sticky. So I'm just dressing her up a little bit, just giving her a little bit of bling, making her a little bit shiny for the tree. I think it'll be pretty, reflecting lights on the tree. And I don't know what I had these for, but this works great. Okay, now I do have, oh man, I just kind of lightly smeared her face. It looks like she's crying. Okay, that's a little better. No, it's not. Okay, I'll have to give her another nose later. Now, the sheet does come with some other little stickers that I'm going to stick on her. Some of these little corner medallions. Let's just give her a couple of those. And then I have one other last thing that I want to do to just kind of perk her up a little bit. Now I have little rhinestones sticking everywhere. Okay, what I do have somewhere here, there we go. I'm going to take a bit of a glue pen. Now you could take just some white glue or clear glue on a paintbrush, but because I have this, I'm just going to kind of squeeze it out along her wings. And then I have this glitter snow that I am just going to drop onto that glue to just kind of make her wings just a little bit perkier. So you can kind of see, I don't know if you can catch it, the sparkle and the glitter, but trust me, it's there. Now, these little angels, and I did a couple of them, if you remember, they started with that wooden taper that was from an old candelabra, not a chandelier, candelabra, that I took off because I was going to be using for something else. But something about that shape just spoke to me. I don't know why, angel. So I was saving them from when I did that project to be able to make them into angels for the Christmas trees. A little bit different, but it's think as you're thrifting about pieces that you take off that you don't need for perhaps what you're planning on doing, how else you can repurpose them. Everything can be repurposed. I think these turned into really sweet little angels for the tree. Let me know what you think. Looking forward to hearing your comments. Definitely looking forward to seeing you on the next one. Check out some of the other ornaments in the series. And until the next time, take care.